I thought I would do a couple of these homework problems for you, and just want to caution you again when I do this, please don't just stop with this. If you've already done this, maybe this video will just help you confirm your answer. But if you haven't done this at all, then watch this video and then do it yourself. All right, that's the only way that you really are going to learn algebra, is if you're practicing it yourself. So I just want this to be a help to those who really are not sure what to do. Watch this and then turn off the video and do it and see if you can get the right answer on your own. Okay, well, I went ahead, we're supposed to sketch a right triangle with theta as the measure of one of the acute angles. And I just picked this one, really doesn't matter which one you pick. And we're supposed to find these other 5 trig ratios. And in class I told you that if you're given a trig ratio in decimal form, then I want the rest of these to be in decimal form. And if you happen to be given, like on number 26, 27, I think the rest of these, if you're given fraction form, then keep your other trig ratios in fraction form. Okay, so all these are going to be decimal. Let's take a look at sine theta is equal to 0.35. Well, just temporarily, so I can find out what the sides are, I'm going to change this to a fraction, but I'll end up with decimal answers. So again, you already know this, I'm sure, but 0.35 could be thought of as 35 over 100, which reduces even further because 5 goes into both of these numbers, so you can reduce this to 7 over 20. So relative to angle theta, sine means opposite over hypotenuse. And so if I'm given the ratio of 7 over 20, that means my opposite side is 7 and the hypotenuse is 20. Well, that makes it pretty easy to find this other leg of my right triangle using the Pythagorean theorem. 20 squared equals 7 squared plus this unknown side we'll call b squared. So 20 squared minus 7 squared. Okay, so we'll grab our calculator and we'll do 20 squared minus 7 squared. That's 351, and then we find the square root of that number. So I'm just going to raise this to the 1/2 power. And I get 18.7 for B. Okay. So now we're pretty much set. We're going to run through the other 5 trig functions relative to angle theta. So remember, cosine is adjacent, which in this case is 18.7, over hypotenuse. All right, so we need to grab our calculator and do that division. 18.7 divided by 20 is 0.935. And we're supposed to, let's see, we're rounding, it doesn't say what to round to. So let's just say we'll round to the hundredths. So I'm going to say that's approximately 0.94, right? And then tangent, remember tangent theta is opposite over adjacent. So I do 7 over 18.7. And grab your calculator, 7 divided by 18.7. And that's 0.374, on and on and on, and we'll just round that to the hundredths and say it's 0.37. Okay, well, cosecant is the inverse of sine, and sine is 0.35 in decimal form. Well, cosecant would just be 1 over that, 1 divided by 0.35. You just flip this over and grab your calculator. 1 divided by 0.35 is 2.857 So we'll say 2.86. Okay, secant theta is the inverse of cosine. So I'm just going to take this fraction, or you could, I guess it'd be better to just go ahead and take this fraction and flip it over and then divide 20 divided by 18.7. That's 1.0695, so we'll just say 1.07. And then finally, cotangent, of course, is the inverse of tangent. So we're going to flip over the fraction 18.7 divided by 7 and do that in our calculator. And we get 2.67142 and on and on and on. And so we'll just say 2.67. All right, and so that's it. That's your answer for number 32. All the other trig functions. And so let's take a look at another one. This is number 41. Okay, we have this, I went ahead and just drew a rough sketch. We have this 150-foot pole that's casting a shadow. So obviously, the way my right triangle is situated, the sun is shining over here, casting a shadow 210 feet long. Okay, and so we're supposed to find this angle of elevation and I've just labeled it as X. Okay, so looking out from angle X, you see opposite over adjacent, and of course we recognize that as the tangent function. So tangent angle X is going to be opposite over adjacent. Okay, well, finding the exact measurement of angle X means I'm going to multiply. So algebraically, I'm just going to multiply both sides by the inverse. So I just want you to understand my next step. When I multiply by the inverse of tangent on both sides, I will be doing this in my calculator. All right, and we're going to round this to the nearest tenth. So grab your calculator and do secant tan 150 divided by 210. And that is 35.5376 and on, but rounded to the nearest tenth, it's 35.5 degrees. So that would be my answer to this angle of elevation problem. Okay, just a couple of problems there. Thought that might help you a little bit with this assignment, but if you get stuck or if you have any other questions, feel free to contact me.